Okay, we have a 7th grade math quiz here. I'm going to go through all the questions here. If you want a copy of these questions, link in the description. If you want more practice on that, beyond this, link in the description. Let's get started. With this first question, an item costs N dollars. If the price of the item increased by 25%, the new price can be represented by this expression right here, which expression can also represent the new price. So let me explain this one right here. First off, we have that, and if you have n, that's the same thing as having 1n. And 1 plus 0.25 is 1.25, and then you have the n. So that looks like this one right here exactly. That's easy peasy. And okay, by the way, also explaining this expression a little bit more, the price of it increased. So in order to increase, that is addition. So the item is being increased by 25%, and in order to increase it by 25%, you have to multiply. You need to know what is 25% of the item n. Well, that word of means to multiply, and 25% is 0.25 as a decimal. So it's 0.25 times n, or you would just write that as 0.25n. And that's what this is exactly. Now, once again, we would add the 1n to the 0.25 to get 1.25. It's really just that simple. Okay, let's look at number 2. So for number 2, for number 2, we have select all the expressions that are equivalent to this mess right here. Let me go over here and copy that. And I'm going to simplify this a bit right over here. So what we have is you need to distribute first. So you need to distribute this 2 to every item inside the parentheses, because right here is multiplication. See, there's no operation between the 2 and the parentheses, so we call that multiplication there. And in the order of operations, you have to multiply before you can do any of this adding or subtracting stuff. So 2 times -4, that's -8, -8x. And then you have 2 times 5.2, which is 10.4. So that'd be 10.4. And that's a positive 10.4 because you have a positive times a positive. So that would be plus 10.4. And then we have this, we have the other stuff here, right? I'll just copy that straight down. We have -2.75 and then minus 4.25. And okay, now here is my secret. My super secret for this. I'm going to pull this. Nope. I'm just going to make a copy of this here. And I'm going to slide it back over. So let's take a look at what I got here. So pulling this over here, just trying to put it right in the middle of everything. Maybe I'll put it up here so we have a little bit of room here. Just a little bit. Now, examine what's happening here, because we actually can pretty much figure out the answer here. We have a constant and another constant. In fact, I forgot to put an x right there. So let me put an x right there. I forgot that was part of the problem. And then, so we have a constant and another constant. I'm sorry, another constant. So we have -2.75 and 10.4. Those are our two constants. And look at this, -2.75 right here, positive 10.4 right here. I'll bet you this is going to be one of our answers right here. How can we figure out the rest? Well, think about what is -4.25 minus 8. They're the same sign, negative, negative. I know it looks like minus, but they also count as negatives. So -4.25 minus 8 is -12. So together, this is -12.25. hey, look at that. If I combine these two terms, I get this. And then if I just leave that unsimplified here and that one unsimplified, that ends up being one of the answers. Now, this unsimplified form right here, we can also see, well, I bet if I look for negative 4.25 and negative 8x, negative 4.25 and negative 8x, then I bet that C is another one of our answers. We can make sure of this by combining our constants. The constants is negative 2.75 and positive 10.4. Now you have to subtract these two because that's negative and that's positive. So on the side, how about I take 10.4 minus 2.75? So over here, I have 10.4 minus 2.75. I'll put a 0 here. And 10 minus 5 is 5. This is now 13, which makes that a 6. And then this has to be 9 minus 2, which is 7, 7.65. Well, look at that. When I combine my constants, I get 7.65, which is this. And I have those two, let me move this over just a little bit. And I have these two variable terms, negative 4.25, negative 8. Boom. Not simplified together, but the constant is, because that's what we got when we combine our constants here. So there you go. I mean, pretty much it's one step right here where you just distribute. If you distribute properly, you get this, and you can see what the rest of the answer is. All right, enough of that one. Let's go on with this. Which expressions are equivalent to 80x plus 60? Well, let's see. We have to distribute in each of these cases. 10 times negative 8, that's negative 80. And negative 80 is not that. So we can, that's not part of the answer at all. What else I got here? Negative 10 times negative 8, that is positive 80. Great. X, okay. Then negative 10 times 6 is negative 60. No, that's not going to work. So B is not one of our answers either. Okay. 10 times 8, 80. X, okay, great. 10 times 6, 60. Okay, I think we found one of our answers there. What else we got here? We got negative 10 times 10, which is negative 100. Not even close. Not even close. And then we have negative 10 times negative 8, okay, which is positive 80, and negative 10 times negative 6 is positive 60. I think we got our other answer here. There you go. All right, let's see here. Let's look at number 4. 4/5 of the students who voted for a student council president voted for, let me make this a little bit smaller, voted for Hank. Hank received 356 votes. How many students voted in the election? 4/5. Okay. 4/5. 4/5 of the students. Of means to multiply. So 4/5 of the students. So you multiply, I don't know how many students. We're trying to figure out how many students there are, right? Because how many students? That's what X is how many students there are. And 4/5 of the students voted for Hank, and he got, so that's equal to 356 votes. Let's take this over here, and let's see how we can solve that. Let's see, can I take that with me? Nope, I'm going to have to rewrite it here. That's okay, though. 4/5 times X is equal to 356. So what I'm going to do is I'm trying to figure out what X is equal to. Now, if I multiply this by the reciprocal, which is to flip over the fraction, 5/4, then these all cancel, and that's great. And I have X by itself now, but I have to do the same thing on the other side, times 5/4. Now, the easy thing to do is you just multiply 356 times 5, and then whatever you get, divide it by 4. Not bad, huh? Well, I figured out that 356 times 5 is 1,780, and then I have to divide that by 4. So 1780 divided by 4. Let's see. That doesn't go into 1, but it goes 17 4 times, which is 16. 1, 8. That's also 4 times, and that's 16, and that's 2, and that's 5. So there are 445 students that voted in the election. Okay, next one, this algebraic expression. How about I take it with me over here? I'll just copy this and get it over here. So let's see. What you have to do is you have to distribute this times everything in the parentheses. So negative 8/5 times 25. Well, what I like to do is 5 will divide 25 and 20 and 5. And so what you could do is, there's a couple things you could do. Maybe you could even combine these like terms if you like. It really doesn't matter, I guess. Well, let's see. You know what? Let's combine those like terms. Why not? It was a good idea. Miss No said, how about you combine these two right here? You can do that. They're inside the parentheses. Negative 25 plus 5, that's negative 20, minus 20x plus 8x, and that's negative 8/5. Okay, so we don't have to distribute so much. I'm going to erase this little thing here. Okay, so now 5 will divide both of these pretty easily. 5 goes into 24 times, and 4 times 8 is 32. So 32. Now we have a negative times a negative, which is a positive. So that's just going to be positive 32. And then 5 goes into 24 times. 4 times 8 is again 32. So that's 32. Don't forget the x. And a negative times a negative is a positive. So I'd have to write plus. And then, so that's all done. I don't need the parentheses now because I multiplied 8/5 times the parentheses, but I still have plus 8x. I'll combine my like terms. 32 plus 8 is 40. Don't forget the x. And then the 32 is the constant that goes at the end. There you go, 40x plus 32. That is the simplified answer. Okay, here, enter the value c when the expression 16x plus c is equivalent to 3.2 times the quantity 5x minus 9. Okay, well, we got to find out what c is. So what I'll do is I'll copy this. And I'll just take it down here. So we need to, sorry about that. We need to distribute. So 3.2 times 5, that's 0. 15, that's 16.0x. And then I have to do this. That's minus 3.2 times 2.9. I don't know. 3.2 times 2.9. 18, 27, 28, 4, 6, 8, 12, 8, 9, 9.28. Okay, we have what we need here. I'm going to erase this stuff right here. So, now, what we need to recognize is that's the same thing as 16x plus a negative 9.28. Okay, and so what does c need to be? It's plus what? It's plus a negative 9.28. So c has to be negative 9.28. That is the answer to that problem. All right, let's do the simplify one, and I'll do it over on this side here. I have a little bit more room. And what I will do is I will multiply it. Now that's minus 2, but it also counts as a negative 2. So negative 2 times x is negative 2x. And then negative 2 times, I know it says minus 6, but it also counts as a negative 6. Negative 2 times negative 6 that is positive 12. And then I'll copy down the rest. I have a plus 4x over here, and I have a 2. And now I will combine my like terms. I have a negative 2 and a positive 4x. Negative 2 plus 4, that is 2. It's 2, positive 2, x, and then 2 plus 12. Those are my constants. I could put those two together, and that is 14. And so this is our final answer when we're asked to simplify the expression. And we have this number 8. I'll do this number 8 right here. We're trying to solve for x. So what does it work for x? What works for x? Well, we can see here that we're adding. So the inverse of adding is subtracting. And so we would subtract, get my pen tool ready, we would subtract 6.24. And when I do that, that's 0 plus x is equal to that, which is great. But you have to do the same thing on both sides of the equal sign. So you have to subtract 6.24 here too. Now when I do that, I need to add a 0 here, and then I just start subtracting. 10 minus 4 is 6. This is now an 8. Minus 2 is 6. And 12 minus 6 is 6. So it should be 6.66. Now to check, what I would do is I would take my original equation, which was 6.24, and I would add my x value, which is 6.66, and hopefully I get 12.9. So if I add these up, 4 and 6 is 10, 8, 9, and 12, 12.9. I get it. So that's the right answer. So I would write 6.66 as my answer. Number 9, another solve equation. So we have, I'll bring this over here. This is, that's division, right? So to get the answer, we would do the inverse, which is to multiply. I simply multiply these two numbers together. So x is going to be negative 5 times 8.3. So what, that's 1541.5, and negative. So I have a negative times a positive is a negative. I'm just going to check again. What, 8.3 times 5 is 1541. Yes, 41. So negative, x is going to be negative 41.5. And so here in this problem, let me make it smaller, we have a triangle, and that triangle is like this. It's beautiful. We have one side has a length of 3x minus 6, another side has 5x minus 3, and a third side has x minus 2. What is the perimeter? Well, to find the perimeter, we have to add this side plus that side plus that side. I'll write it down. 3x minus 6 plus the second side, 5x minus 3, plus the third side, x minus 2. All right, so you add your variable terms together. We have 3 plus 5 is 8, plus another one is 9. So we have 9x, and then we have negative 6 minus 3, which is negative 9. Minus 2 is negative 11, and so we have 9x minus 11 is our simplified answer. And so there you go. And if you need more practice on this, link in the description. Tons of practice. All right, thanks for watching.